Hi, good morning, everyone. Welcome to our online event. My name is Hanadiani. I'm the communication expert at the Regional Knowledge Center for Marine Plastic Debris, or RKC-MPD. If you are yet to be familiar with us, RKC-MPD is a specialized branch created within the Research Institute for ASEAN and East Asia, or ERIA, to combat marine plastic pollution in Asia region by serving its members. RKC-MPD facilitates networking among stakeholders, raises awareness, promotes innovative actions in each country, and facilitates national and regional cooperation to solve the marine plastic debris problem. This morning, we will shed the light on the good business practices of private companies in Indonesia against plastic pollution. We would also like to introduce our online private sector platform that took note of business practices around ASEAN +3 countries. Sorry. We hope this event serves as an inspiration to other businesses, not only from Indonesia, but from other countries, to join forces and help build an environmentally conscious business online network. Yeah, before we start, I'd like to give a little housekeeping notes. If you have any question, please write so in the Q&A box, not in the chat box. And if you need interpreter, just click the interpretation button on the bottom right. You can choose either English or Indonesian. And now, our distinguished speakers, thank you all for being here today and share your insights on this issue. First, we have Mr. Michikazu Kojima, our senior economist. Kojima-san is an economist specializing in environmental policies, especially on waste management and recycling in Asian countries. Secondly, we have Mr. Rofi Al-Hanif, the Deputy Assistant for Waste and Waste Management from the Coordinating Ministry for Maritime Affairs and Investment of the Republic of Indonesia. Previously, Pak Rofi has served at the Development Planning Agency as well as the Ministry of Maritime Affairs and Fisheries. Welcome, Pak Rofi. And then we have Mr. Osachi Takagi, Acting Chairperson from Japan Clean Ocean Material Alliance, or CLOMA, Indonesia Working Group. Takagi-san is also the Operating Officer, Performance Materials Business Units from Mitsui & Co. Limited. He has been with the trading company for over 3 decades now, engaging in various sectors from sporting goods and automotive parts to chemical products. And from the private sector in Indonesia, we have Mr. Karyanto Wibowo, the Director of Sustainable Development of Danone Indonesia, who is also head of Sustainability Working Group of Eurochem Indonesia and B Corp Movement Builder. Pak Karyanto is also the chairman of PRACE, or Packaging and Recycling Alliance for Indonesia Sustainable Environment. Next, we have Free Bricks Indonesia, the company who transformed plastic waste into building material. Ibu Novita has for years been involved in community development activities and has a deep concern for plastic waste management. Welcome, Bu Novita. And then we have Mr. Ernest Laiman, is the CEO and co-founder of RKC-System, which provides consultancy services that focuses on waste management projects. Ernest is a green entrepreneur with 4 years of experience in FMCG business. He is previously the business development, sustainability, and distributor operation manager or leader. Last but not least, we have Ms. Ayako Mizuno, our RKC-MPD program manager. Mizuno-san previously worked at the Institute for Global Environmental Strategies, or IGS, on sustainable consumption and production, or SCP area. Without further ado, I'd like to ask Kojima-san to open the webinar. Please, Mr. Kojima-san.
Thank you very much. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you fine.
Yeah, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, I am pleased to welcome you to our webinar on how private companies in Indonesia combat marine plastic debris. As a representative of organizer, I would like to express my sincere thanks to Mr. Rofi Al-Hanif, a Deputy Assistant of Waste and Waste Management in the Coordinating Ministry for Maritime Affairs and Investment, Mr. Karyanto Wibowo, Sustainability Director of Danone Indonesia and Chairman of Package and Recycling Association for Indonesia Sustainable Environment, Ms. Nobita Tan, CEO of Rubrics, Mr. Ernest Lyman, CEO and co-founder of Leco System, and Mr. Osachi Takagi, acting chairperson of the Japan Clean Ocean Materials Alliance, Indonesia Working Group, and operating officer for Performance Materials Business Unit at the Mitsui Corporation, for your time to share your presentation in this event. Economic Research Institute for ASEAN and East Asia has established a regional knowledge center for marine plastic debris on October 1st, 2019, which support of with support of the ASEAN plus 3 countries. We developed the website to share good practices on marine plastic debris in ASEAN plus 3 countries, 10 countries in ASEAN plus China, Japan, and Republic of Korea. We started from sharing government initiatives such as laws and action plan related to marine plastic debris through our website. We also recognize the important role of the private sector, which innovate new technologies and products and reduce plastic pollution by use of alternative materials, reuse, recycling, proper waste disposal, and others. But one company alone will not be able to change whole economic system. Private sector needs some inputs, such as technologies, raw materials, equipment, and customer of the products or services. To disseminate private sector's initiatives, we have developed a website for private sector to share the good practices in the region in this year. This is the first event of a series of webinars to share good practices in the region. In this webinar, we focus on good practices in Indonesia, but the participants are not only from Indonesia, but also from other countries such as Japan, Malaysia, Thailand, and so on. Our economies are deeply integrated. Supply chains have been developed beyond borders. I hope you can learn something from this online event and find some opportunities for future collaboration. That is my opening remarks. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Kojima-san. Next, we have presentations from our distinguished speakers. And if you have a question, please write on the Q&A column, not on the chat column, because it will be buried otherwise. And so the first speaker, I'd like to hand over the virtual mic to Mr. Rofi. Pak Rofi, silakan. You have. I'd like to remind you that you have 5 minutes. Thank you.
How about my presentation? Is it
yes,
it's been there?
Okay,
on the screen. Okay.
Yes, we can see it.
Thank you very much, Bu Hera, and good morning, everyone. It's happy to see you here. Even I only seen it on the screen, and thank you for having me for this important webinar. But first of all, I would like to say the sincere apologies from Ibu Nani, the Deputy Minister for Environment and Forestry, that she couldn't make it to be joining this event, and she asked me to represent. So, and also my high gratitude and appreciation to the ERIA for hosting today's seminar, and hopefully this online event can provide more information to each other of all us here, and also will open opportunity for stronger collaboration between the government, private sectors, and all waste management actors, not only Indonesia, but also in this region, as also mentioned by Ms. Kojima just now. So I can also here see the speakers and resource persons that well represent private sectors that have been working on the waste management issues in Indonesia, especially, and that have been working also closely with the government. So, yeah, first I would like also thanks to all the private sectors that have been supporting Indonesian government on this to deal with this marine plastic issue. Let me start. I hope I can make it in 10 minutes or 5 minutes. Ibu
5 minutes, Pak.
5 minutes.
Sorry.
Okay. Let me start with this situation that, yeah, I think everyone knows that Indonesia is now also, we can say, suffer from the marine plastic debris. As we can see here, the waste generated from the human activities, then around 10% will go to the marine system. So if it is occur as business usual, so in the 2025, it is predicted that around 780,000 tons per year plastic will be leakage into the ocean. So that's why government of Indonesia released the target to reduce marine plastic debris up to 70% by 2025. So here is the fate of plastic waste from here in the human activities, that around only 10% go to the recycling, and around another 10% leakage into the ocean. So this is a real problem for us, and we are also still leak in management of the waste in general. So that's why a lot of around 20% of waste is not properly managed. Some of it will go to the ocean actually. So as I mentioned earlier, that we are now having the presidential regulation number 80 2018 on combating marine plastic debris with there are 5 strategies, and the most important is it's coming with the national action plan, and also that's a target to reduce marine debris by 70% in 2025. So we are now at the Secretariat National of Marine Plastic Handling. So we have monitoring all the activities from this national action plan, and also we count the plastic leakage every year. So within 2 years of implementation of this national plan of action, yeah, we have decreased the number of plastic leakage into the ocean around 15.3% from the baseline of 2018 until 2020. So yeah, it is quite okay with the achievement, but there's still challenging how to reach the 70% into 2025. So meaning that we still have like 54.7% within 4 hours to come, 4 years to come. So it's still challenging. So in terms of economic scale on plastic waste management, actually here is there are the possibility how private sectors can support national government. So we have a plan or we can analyze on if we would like to achieve the national target until 2025, 20%, and also there's another target to reach near zero rate of plastic pollution in 2040. So we have to change these 5 plastic or waste management actually, so including reduce and replace plastic, redesigning plastic product, doubling the collection, double the existing recycling, and also expand disposal facilities. So this is actually potential collaboration with private sectors, and so far we have very strong support from them. So to implement all this, it also has been calculated that at least there are numbers of investment can be supported also both from the government and also from the private. So this is open for private to collaborate. And if we go with this scenario, this will also involve around 150,000 formal workers and another 3.3 million informal workers on this waste management, so as we call as green jobs. So this is also part of the circular economy that we are now use is in waste management. So with this, we can also not only protecting our environment, but also keeping the economic growth. So regarding the legislation with the private sector's roles in responsibility in waste management, I think it's already quite well mentioned in our regulations, start from the law on waste management and also another law regulation. But here is the yellow one is the just newly enacted regulation of Ministry of Environment and Forestry regarding the roadmap on producers plastic waste reduction by producers. Jadi, so through this regulation, it's kind of EPR actually, extended producer responsibility. So we encourage the producer to start implement more environmentally sounds on this plastic management. So here's the roadmap itself. So it said that we start in 2020, then with developing waste reduction plan with the producer. So it's the producer itself should make their own plan, and then this consult with the government. So in the next year, there will be start initial implementation or trial, and this roadmap will be fully implemented start next 2 years. So with this, hopefully we can reduce around 30% of plastic waste by producers. So starting from the reduce the waste generation, and also how to manage this plastic waste. So another role of private sectors on integrated waste management, actually private sectors now will play important role along with the value chain of the plastic waste. So we are now in the government promoting new sound waste management with more integrated from the upstream to the downstream, not only rely on the what we call TPA or final final landfill, yeah, just like yesterday we just put it there, but now we are starting to handle the waste from the sources, so from the segregation, composting, and so forth. And this will involve and also open to collaborate with private sectors. Just like last week, our minister launched a new TPST or integrated waste management at not a big one actually, like 100 ton per day, but it is built and fully operated by the private sectors. I think Pak Karyanto is here, the next speaker. He could also mention how he and his company supporting this private management, on this waste management. So they work with the local government to manage the waste at domestic waste. So I think this value chain of the waste management now, it is very open for private collaboration with private. So here we also we have also open for investment on waste energy technology. Just last year, President Jokowi, no, not this year, on mine, last month, Jokowi launched the first waste to energy plant in Benowo. So it make from domestic waste into electricity in Surabaya, that with the capacity around 1,000 tons a day. And also last year, Minister Luhut, also our minister, also launched the first RDF plant in Cilacap. So this is also part of the private investment.
Okay.
So here is the in general what the partnership and investment models can we are promoting with the stakeholders. As this pentahelic approach, we can say it. And so the private here is a very important role in supporting innovation, investment, research and development, policy recommendation, and so forth. And there are also opportunity to work with the private for the funding assistance. There are many schemes we can use to collaborate with within government and private sectors. So one platform that we are having now here in Indonesia is what we call this National Plastic Action Partnership, or NPOP. So NPOP is a collaboration platform for all stakeholders, from the government, from the institution, also private sectors, to support the national target on reduction of the plastic marine plastic litter. So we are very happy with this NPOP because they are so strong. I mean, in collaboration with the stakeholders and provide more assistance to the government. So how NPOP works? There are a lot of stakeholders there, and they're from government, international, and organization, NGO, academician, and also private sectors. And yeah, as I mentioned before, that government cannot work by itself. We need support from private sector, and so far in Indonesia we work. There are many initiatives and also private sector investment in waste management. So we are very happy to work with the private. I think that's all my presentation. Thank you very much for your kind attention.
Thank you, Pak Rofi. It's a very great presentation. Because we have tight pack time, so I'd like to ask Takagi-san to present now.
Okay, thank you, Hera-san, and thank you as well for inviting me to this event. Can you hear me? Okay. Yep. I am Osachi Takagi from Mitsui and Company. Mitsui and Company is one of the Japanese trading houses and the chair company of the Indonesia Cooperation Working Group in Kuroma. I want to take this opportunity to provide a simple introduction to Kuroma along with the activities of Indonesia Cooperation Working Group. By the way, I have to say sorry at first. My presentation material is too long and too wordy, so you don't need to read everything. So just allow me to explain some important points. So next, please. Okay. CROMA is an abbreviation of Japan Clean Ocean Material Alliance, CROMA. It is a Japanese private sector group established in 2019, 2 years ago, with the cooperation of the Japanese government. CROMA was organized to collect the knowledge of a group of companies operating in different industries and positions to solve marine plastic issues. CROMA began with 159 company members at its founding, with that number having grown as of today to 440 companies involved in various activities. Next, please. Okay, thank you. Coordinating with the overall activities of CROMA, the Indonesian Cooperation Working Group was established in CROMA to promote cooperation between Japan and Indonesia, which likewise island nations aims to solve the marine plastic litter problem. Our working group supports any initiatives that would help Indonesia to achieve its national targets to resolve the marine plastic litter problem and then to support Indonesia's further development. We intend to propose solutions that match the typical nature and reality of Indonesia. Through discussions between our government and your government, Indonesian government, in this case, that is a coordinating Ministry for Maritime Affairs and Investment. Our working group and the Indonesian National Plastic Action Partnership, it is called NPOP, serve as working organizations for public-private cooperation in Japan and Indonesia, respectively. Sorry, it might be a bit complicated, but anyway, it is a kind of cooperating activities among private, public, and Japan and Indonesia. So we are working all together as one team. Okay, next, please. Okay, receiving lots of support from NPOP, we defined focus areas of our activities in line with Indonesia's national targets, namely a roadmap for material flow of plastic litter by 2025. While working to control the use of plastic through reduction and the use of replacement materials, the roadmap calls for expanded recycling and managed disposal. It also aims to reduce non-managed disposal through open incineration, abandonment, and leakage into the oceans. We aim to promote the initiative in fields where CROMA's strengths can be utilized in response to NPOP's challenges. Next, please. Okay, thank you. This sheet represents our 3 strategies to focus on. The first one is the reduction in use of plastics. The second one is recycling. And the third one is collection and processing of plastic waste. Unfortunately, I don't have enough time to explain all here, but we believe so these kind of things could support achieving your national target. Again, CROMA is a private sector group that combining the knowledge of companies with playing fields in different layers. We can propose to truly create sustainable frameworks by being able to execute them in business. In the upcoming further research activities and feasibility study, CROMA, we will require an even greater level of coordination and cooperation from its Indonesian partners. I kindly ask for your cooperation in these efforts. This is highly and really important and appreciated. Next, please. Okay, At the last part of my presentation, I would like to ask a favor from all of you to utilize the private sector platform on ERIA's website. It is a platform to make communication effective. I think it will be shared in detail later by ERIA, Hera-san or Mijino-san. Anyway, you may find the website in the slide. If you would like to share your issue, problem, or request for something, our colleague in Japan, sorry, not necessarily from Japan, so someone from the world might be able to propose suitable ideas or technologies for you. After all, I'm so happy if we could have something interactive communication with you throughout this platform, or even online like this today, or well, frankly speaking, I myself want to visit your country and to make a communication with you guys in person. Anyway, so such kind of communication should be so very important thing for our better future. That's all from me. Thank you. Terima kasih. Terima kasih. Arigatou gozaimasu.
Terima kasih. Thank you so much, Takagi-san. Next, we'd like to hear from the private sector and their good business practices. Please, Mr. Karyanto Wibowo, to present next. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Mbak Hera. So, good morning, everyone. So, allow me to present how private sectors can contribute to address the pressing problem, which is marine plastic debris. So, let me share my slides. I will do very fast so that we can have time to discuss, because I think it is important to understand and get your view as well. So, I think first of all, let me introduce our company. So I'm working for Danone. So we are the pioneer on the circular economy in Indonesia, and then we launched the Bijak Berplastik, or Be Wise in using plastic a few years ago. But actually we are pioneering in beverages industry, more than 45 years establishing in Indonesia. So we are the first Big Corp company to acknowledge our initiative to do good for the community, for the nature, for our consumers, for our stakeholders. And then we are the first FMCG in Indonesia, and the biggest Big Corp in Southeast Asia region. So the way we do our business, basically, we are really following the circular economy approach. So of course, circular economy is not only applied for packaging, but also the way we operate our business. So we promote, we committed to RE 100, means that we are committed to reach renewable energy by 2030. And then also we push on positive water impact through the circular water initiative. And then of course, for the packaging, we really drive the circular economy as part of our business. It's not only just using the recycle, but also pushing more on reusable model as we speak. And then a few years ago, basically we pledged our commitment to support government of Indonesia in addressing the waste challenge and also transition to the circular economy. This is basically our commitment to recover more plastic than we use by 2025. Focusing on the 3 pillars, which is the first one is collection, because this is something that we need to push together with the local relevant stakeholders. And then the second one is education on the behavior change. And then the third one is innovation, how we innovate our product to use less plastic, to promote reusable, etc. and so forth. So basically how it starts, this is basically how we push really circular business model. Perhaps most of you didn't realize that actually up to now 70% of our business is actually on reusable jugs. So we are able to save the use of plastic, 100,000 of ton of plastic because of this model. And we commit to keep promoting this model in the futures. And then Of course, we have a single-use plastic, which is since 1993, we initiate the program to collect our plastic bottle. This is a pioneer initiative that we have in Indonesia, so that it grows the ecosystem of the recycling industry in Indonesia. And then, of course, we continue our initiative, not stopping there. We scaling up, we expand our network and also the collection centers in 17 districts across Indonesia, including also island like Bali and then Labuan Bajo and some other islands, so that we collect 13,000 tons of plastic bottles that we produce every year. It is quite a lot. It is almost 1 billion of bottles every year that being collected. Of course, we don't do just a small initiative, but we have to do it massively. I just want to give you an example of what we are doing in Bali. So basically in Bali, through our record, actually, we are collecting more than we produce or what we are selling in Bali through the structured and massive collections. So you see here in the pictures, of course, we do it massively, as I mentioned, and then benefiting because actually in Indonesia we still have to work with the scavengers. We want to really benefiting them by driving the inclusive collection model. What does it mean by the inclusive collection model? So means that we have to treat our scavenger as our partner. So we need to make sure that they get the access on relevant necessity. They must have the access on education, on health, on also the education on financial literacy, eliminating the connection to the middleman, and so forth. So we also conducted, because this is very important, how to prevent the child labor, because we are working also with the scavengers, and of course we need to eliminate the child labor from our supply chains. I think we are also the pioneer and got also the recognition from the ministry on what we are doing on child labor. So back to the collections, what we are doing with the bottles that we collect. So basically the bottles that we collect, we process through the high-tech technology, I would say, and then we use it in our bottles. So we are so far the only company using the RPET in our bottles in Indonesia. And then of course we need to scaling up. Just recently, working with our partners, Veolia, we just opened the factory in Pasuruan with 25,000 tons of capacity per year, so that we will be able to triple the capacity of RPET that being used in our product, so that it will facilitate the innovation that we have to use more recycled materials in our product. Of course, we have the ambition to be fully circular. It's not only because of the reusable jugs, but also use as much as possible recycled materials in our packaging. And then now I go back to the education part, because this is very important. So education, we can do, of course, through the power of our brand, we can facilitate our consumers to understand what is sorting, what is recycling, what is waste collections. And then we facilitate them through the digital, because it is very close to our consumers. And then also we, as part of our initiative to empower scavengers, we also facilitate scavengers working with our partners to be facilitated in connecting between the scavengers to the source of plastic waste. So this will, this will help scavengers to increase the income and so forth. On top of what we are doing on waste, on plastic bottle, this is something that already mentioned by Pak Rofi before. Of course, we as a company, we think that it is our responsibility also to step up. So we need to do more to work together with the governments to improve, to support the improvement of the infrastructure for the waste collection. There are many initiatives happening. Of course, we need to learn, we need to test, we need to find the best model for Indonesia. And then this is the initiative we think it will help. The integrated waste facility, community-based, private sector run professionally, has to be positively PNL, able to manage 160-80 tons per day in the two districts, which is Lamongan in East Java and Jimbaran in Bali. We also do the initiative on close the leakage through the river interceptor and also the island collections, like in Pulau Seribu and Labuan Bajo, we collect the plastic over there and bring to the recycling facility in Java. Education, consumers touch point, definitely. There are many initiatives to really create awareness of our consumers. Beyond our superiority of the product, okay, this is the way, something that we need to understand, why we need to engage, why we need to collaborate, why we need to work together. This is something that it is important, and also to give the education for them that basically waste, if really managed, cannot be just waste, but can be a useful and also valuable product. We need also to do systematically on education part. So we are working also with Pak Rofi. Thanks for great support. We are able to launch the book, which is going to be used, or actually already used by students, for them to understand what is waste. That the book title is My Waste, My Responsibility, or Sampahku Tanggung Jawabku. This is really education for students at school to understand and how they can participate in the waste management. So I think this is my last presentation. Of course, we should work collectively. We cannot do it as a one company. We have to work together. So therefore, we also part of IPRO, Indonesia Packaging Recovery Organization, inspired by our similar organization happen in many different countries, especially Europe. What we can do to collectively as industry supporting, the initiative on waste management in Indonesia in a more comprehensive way. So this is basically the model. Of course, we can discuss later, but here IPRO will be the center of, the initiative that we want to do to engage upstream to the downstream, from the packaging company, brand owners, retailers, recyclers, and then we help supporting to increase the collection through the infrastructure development and of course education. So of course my last message was we cannot do it alone. We have to work together collectively. The problem is quite big, quite complex. So this can be only tackled if we really do collaboratively and also collective actions. I think that's all. My presentation. So thank you very much and look forward for the discussions. Thank you.
Thank you, Pak. Next, Ibu Novita, please. We'd like to hear your presentation next. And I'd like to remind the audience to also submit the questions on the Q&A. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Let me, from 5 minutes ahead, I will present about what rubrics do. You can see my screen? Okay. My name is Novi. I'm as a co-founder of Rubrics Indonesia. Thank you for the opportunity to present about rubrics. And what rubrics do? Rubrics transform rejected plastic waste into building material. There's two highlights in here. The first one is rejected plastic waste. What is the rejected plastic waste? There are several types of plastic waste that have low recycle rate and no high demand. Because of that, there's no economic value. And that mostly in the landfill, river, and ocean. This type of plastic you can see every day. Maybe from this morning, you have a breakfast with the instant noodle or drink instant coffee. All those food packaging plastic that have a foil inside, we call it a rejected plastic waste. And this is like if you have a snack from your childhood favorite snack, it may be still in there because it have a low recycle rate. So what we do, rubrics recycle rejected plastic waste into material building. Our first product, as you can see, is our pavers. The second one is hollow block. The third one is rubrics roaster. For the rubrics roaster, we collaborate with the community. We produce the roaster for ventilation and create the green economic circular for community road. All of our product already tested at national certification body. For the example one, the paver, we already passed the pressure power in national standard criteria and fit to the B class for pedestrian, parking lots, and garden. For sure, we make sure about the competitive price from the conventional product. And also we have a green method. It's mean we don't create a more waste or like burning or like burning one. And right now we can recycle about 88,000 pieces of plastic, or production capacity about 100 meter a day with one machine. So this is our certification. We also passed the fire tests from our product in Singapore, and we determined to be non-combustible product. So this is like Rebrix paper application. As you can see, the project recycle from 45,000 rejected plastic waste. It means this project has straight informal impact to save the world from 45,000 species that may be at the ocean and eaten by animal or maybe people. This picture, several picture is like our Rebrix application. The number below is how many pieces that stop plastic waste ended in the landfill into the valuable product, Rebrix valuable product. So this is our second product. The first one, the first customer, she buy the hollow block for the build the house, and successfully stop the rejected plastic waste 340 kilos. For this is illustration of making of building 56-meter classroom, we can stop at least 180 kilos rejected plastic waste. So the environmental impact needs to be synergized with the social economic impact. Nowadays, many are aware of danger of plastic waste, but it lacks information how the community can help to address the problem. If the community knows how and what, the simple act like Rebrix to separating the household plastic waste will make a better and cleaner world, because we have like 1,000 Rebrixers who voluntarily send their rejected plastic waste to our drop point in Jakarta. Not from the Jakarta, we also receive from the other island like Borneo and Sulawesi. My team start our journey with a tell one person or woman, a mother, that we need rejected plastic waste, and she make a one broadcast message to spread the information, and after that we receive a lot of waste sent to our Rebrix community impact, social impact. We also have a strategy to collaborate with community to make green revenue by recycle rejected plastic waste in the site. We collaborate with the Astra International to make this training. So what we do next, actually we want to expand, collaborate with GO and GO or company to tackle the ocean waste or other city. The other focus is doing research and development to produce other material building product so we can recycle more. By our journey, we collaborate with many stakeholders and partners, FMCG, architect, funding. This is from Solagard and Coralife. We get fund for our hollow block machinery. And in 2000, we win Circular Economy Innovation Jam and get noticed by international media. And for the next year, maybe we have sales from Singapore, hopefully. So the last one is let's build a greener Indonesia, one brick at a time. Thank you for the 5 minutes. Okay.
Thank you, Bu Navita. And please, Pak Ernest, and please be mindful of the time, because we'd like to have more time for Q&A. So 5 minutes it is.
Okay, sure. Okay. So yeah, good morning, everyone. My name is Ernest Lehman. So thanks, ERIA, for having me today. So bear with me for the next 5 minutes. I will share about what we are doing right now and what we are trying to solve through ecosystem. We are a circular economy platform that try to improve the waste value chain. What is waste? And maybe in this topic, plastic waste. Our society classified a product some classified as high value and some is classified as low value. But most of waste, or even all type of waste, classified as low value products, because our society value the finished good products highly. It's not only because of its packaging or its material, but it also consists the operational cost, the marketing, promotion, branding, margin, and tax. That's how our society values the finished good products. When it becomes to waste, or usually we call it as a post-consumer product, we only value it based on its packaging. So it's very low, and how the waste very lowly value. There's very limited innovation here. There is also, we also count with a lot of informal sector here, or we usually call the green job. So this is how the existing player or existing value chain works. What RKC trying to do is we want to increase the value chain. So this is not only because of the packaging itself, but about the information carried by waste, like the market insight, EPR, waste accounting, or even reduction of the transportation and logistic costs. So that's why we are focusing on the collection, segregation, and matchmaking certain type of waste into the right recycling center. So we are a waste matchmaker. We try to collect a lot of waste, try to segregate it into the right type that accepted with the recycling center, and matchmake them into the recycling center. Specific with the plastic waste, we also realized that there is a lot of plastic types. That's like the standardized is 7. When it comes into the recycling centers, it will become the 30 types of plastic waste that need to be segregated. Our role is to enable and empower current waste workers in the chain to collect more, segregate rightly into the recycling center, and ensure that the recycling center can get the right supply chain. So also to the right supplies of certain types of plastic. So like the recycling for the PET, get the PET, recycling of the HDPE, get the HDPE, and then also the rest type of plastic. So that's why we are type agnostic, means we absorb all type of the plastic waste produced, even the low value one. We collaborate with the recycling centers that can use it like for the co-processing or RDF process to value even the low value plastic. And then in the process, we capture the data and the information that we use as the market insight, and also another value creation that we need in the long-term run. And then, as I mentioned, for our product itself, we have like two. If I go back a little bit, the pickup and the drop point. For the drop point, we collect plastic by opening the public space collection point where people can drop their inorganic waste and plastic waste in bulk. So it's helped them to ease the segregation process in their houses. They don't need like in one by one. They just need to put it all their dry waste, including the plastic waste, and submit into ecosystem collection point. And ecosystem will give a reward around 800 rupiah per kilogram, and also the calculation of their carbon footprint and also type of waste submitted. So I will show you about the video a little bit. So people just need to bring like bulk of their inorganic waste and just put the code in the waste, in their bulk waste. They just need to submit, and then they will get the information. Like I shared earlier here, the number of the plastic and the number of the even other inorganic waste submitted. And we also try to even encourage more people to collect the plastic in this kind of the topic. So our collection point, we also developed the specific for the beverage plastic products. It's called the Rebox. So this is the IoT reverse vending machine. This is our R&D project to develop our machine learning to recognize certain type of plastic and value them based on the number of plastic we submitted. So let me share it to you. So they just need to scan the box, get connected with the apps, drop it, the machine will be recognized this is the right type of waste, and they will get the reward there. Not only the reward, but they also get the information like the what kind of type of plastic submitted from what brand, and this is like our dashboard to recognize the brand that already collected through our machine learning reverse vending machine. This is limited because this is part of our R&D project, but the intention is to train our machine learning to can recognize more and more type of the plastic waste as the market insight and the EPR for the long run. And then after that, we also do collection. This is pretty simple. People can just order the pickup, schedule pickup. We will provide the guideline. We will provide the for the B2C, like the report of total waste and plastic waste collected. And for the B2B, we provide the dashboard, the count of a certain number of plastics collected and their impact into the sustainability. So that's all about the ecosystem, and this is what we are doing: the snapshot, collection, drop, pick up, and also what we also have seen in media in the past our execution in the past 1 year, and also our participation in several accelerator programs, both from the startup, tech-based, and also a plastic innovation challenge. So that's all about the ecosystem. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Pak Ernest. It's very inspiring and also intriguing. We already have a lot of questions in the Q&A section, but last but not least, we have Ayako Mizuno-san to explain about our program on private sector platform. Please, Mizuno-san.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you for the introduction. Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ayako Mizuno. I would like to very briefly make a presentation on ERIA's activity to support the private sector. Next, please. First, allow me to introduce you briefly to the Regional Knowledge Center for Marine Plastic Debris, or RKC-MPD. So the RKC-MPD is a specialized branch under the Economic Research Institute for ASEAN and East Asia, or ERIA, established to support the ASEAN +3 member states to tackle marine plastic debris. We work not only with the relevant governments, but also with research institute, academia, private sector, international organizations, and NGOs. And our goal, which have been already mentioned by my colleague earlier, are to create regional network and raise awareness regarding marine plastic debris, to promote innovative actions in each member country, and to facilitate national and regional collaboration. Next, please. So having listened to the inspiring interventions before me, you might be wondering what ERIA as a regional international organization can offer in terms of support to promote this positive business trend. Our answer is to create an online platform to highlight and promote private companies with positive business initiatives to reduce plastic waste in ASEAN +3 region. This is a regional platform that gathers private companies operating in all ASEAN +3 countries to present their business activities that are conducive to a society with less plastic waste and less plastic leakages to the environment. Next, please. So some of the business activities examples that you can already find on our platform are efforts to increase plastic resource efficiency, alternative material to plastic, plastic recycling, improve plastic waste management, services to use less plastics, especially single-use plastics. We also have innovative technologies and tools to better track and manage plastic in the environment. Next, please. Our objectives here is threefold. One, to collect and share in one cohesive platform private companies' positive business activities. Two, to acknowledge the private sector as an important stakeholder to change our linear way of consumption and production to a more circular and sustainable one. And finally, to facilitate private companies with good practices to expand their business opportunities within ASEAN +3 countries and beyond through the platform. Next, please. Now, I would like to go ahead and answer two of the most asked questions. The first question I receive is who is eligible to register on the platform? Can NGO register? Can individuals or community activities take part? And the answer is that you have to fulfill two simple conditions. You have to be a private company whose business activities take place in ASEAN plus 3 region. So that's one. And that the same activities also have to contribute to plastic waste reduction, or more specifically to marine plastic pollution prevention. Next, please. Another question I receive quite often is, what's in it for the private companies to be on this platform? What's the benefit? To which we have 4 main explanations. One is to be better known to potential customers within ASEAN and East Asian region. 2 is to be able to find potential business to business and or business to consumer opportunities in the region. 3 is to make your company's sustainability efforts known to the broader general public internationally. And 4 is to appeal to potential investors, support and expand their business. And all this marketing and outreach can be done through our platform with no cost to company at all. So private companies have everything to gain, but basically nothing to lose. The only input you need to make is to take a little bit of your time to go online and fill out the online form. Next, please. I would like to showcase here that our private sector platform is where companies from different countries contributing to different plastic waste reduction efforts gather together. The 3 companies representing Indonesia today, namely Danone Indonesia, Ecosystem, and Rebrix, also in the process of submitting their products and technologies on our platform. So I would like to take this opportunity to thank all of the representatives today. Next, please. Finally, I am aware that many Indonesian as well as non-Indonesian companies and stakeholders are here today. So if you are also contributing in plastic waste reduction through your business activities, please join the platform. You will find it on rkc-mpd-area.org/story. And if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to contact our team at marineplastic@area.org. The platform URL and the email address is being shared by my colleagues, so please find them in the chat box. Thank you very much for your attention, and if you have any question, I will be happy to answer them later. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Rosan. Thank you very much, all the speakers, for the wonderful and inspiring presentations. We already have a lot of questions in the Q&A column. First, perhaps I'd like to address this to Pak Rofi from Joseph Mikael Husin in Berau, East Kalimantan. He said that from the presentations, I get the impression that while the goal is to manage marine plastic waste nationally, most of the infrastructures needed to manage the plastic waste are more readily available in Java. What is the government plan to tackle the problem of plastic waste in more rural or isolated island of Indonesia? Please, Pak Rofi.
Thank you, Ibu Eria, and also thank you for the Pak Husin for the question. Yeah, well, that's the fact that we can deny that the infrastructure is much more built in Java area compared to other area. So that's the fact. But in this case, there's also in terms of waste management, there's the fact that the percentage of the waste collected in the rural area is less than in the major city. It is because of the infrastructure, of course. Even though the numbers or the volumes is higher at the bigger or city, but the government actually support the building of infrastructure, not in Java it's only actually, but again the size probably, or the issue, or we sometimes we are also in the government, we need to deal with the urgency. Yeah, in the big cities, it's much more urgent to build such kind of infrastructure instead of at the rural area. But I think, yeah, they are now also starting to build such kind of waste management in rural area. We can see in eastern part of Indonesia, we built quite many infrastructure. I mean, the government, yeah. Many infrastructure there, and we also have very strong support from the private. And but the challenge again now is the capacity of the local government. Actually, based on our regulation, the local government is the one that most responsible for the domestic waste actually. So they basically the one that more responsible for building or this infrastructure. But the limitation of the capacity of the local government, both from financial, from the budgeting, and also from the human resources, also another challenge actually. So for us, how to make this development more equal in terms of waste management. But so this is the challenge for Indonesia actually. But we are still working on it, and we have a very strong commitment to also foster more development in the rural and remote area. Thank you, Bu Hera.
Thank you, Pak Rofi, for the response. Secondly, we have a question for Kloma, for Takagi-san. It is mentioned that Kloma wants to help Indonesia to achieve its target to reduce 70% of plastic going into the oceans by 2025. 3 solutions were presented as ways for Kloma to help Indonesia. Could you explain them more in detail? For instance, do you have any specific areas of activities, region or cities of the country that you focus on, or are there any partners that Kloma will work with to achieve this objective? Please, Takagi-san.
Okay, thank you for giving me a question. It's a good question, really. So first of all, I don't like this pandemic situation. We had planned to visit your country originally, so to understand the things, what is happening, and what the reality of Indonesia. But unfortunately, last year and this year, we couldn't do that. So without knowing the fact correctly, it's quite difficult, or it's quite challenging for us to make something suitable or appropriate proposal to you. So frankly speaking, our progress is rather slower than we expected, we planned originally. But still, so we are getting some supports from NPOP, or your government, CMMAI, and also ERIA, and so the local government like Surabaya City and some other private companies. We anyway could receive some information to make our study. And so actually tomorrow we will have online meeting with NPOP and the CMMAI, and I can meet Rofi-san tomorrow again, I think so. And so we will share some update at the meeting, and we expect to receive some feedback from them. So, and repeating that, we adjust our direction in proper way, and finally we will make a concrete idea to propose to your country. So still we need some time for the research and feasibility study. But anyway, as explained, we are private companies, and we really want to proceed to the business phase. No? So after completing such studies, anyway, we will make the step forward to the business stage together with potential partners in Indonesia. But sorry, at this moment, we have not decided any potential partners concretely. But anyway, on the 3 strategic areas, reduce in plastic usage and recycling and the collection and the processing of plastic waste. No? So we are ready to propose some concrete proposal in near future. So maybe next year is very important year for us to make good progress. Hera-san, sorry, it's an answer to this question.
Yes, thank you, Takagi-san. We have a question from Asia, from the Jakarta Post for Pak Karyanto. What is your take on plastic bottle deposit system like in Germany to encourage recycling in Indonesia? In Germany, people pay 25 cents more for plastic bottle, but they will receive the money back if they recycle them. Please, Pak Karyanto.
Yeah, so thank you. It's very good questions. Yes, in some countries in Europe, especially in Scandinavian countries, they implement a kind of a model which is we call DRS or deposit return scheme. And then yes, in reality, to be proven, the collection rate of this kind of materials is really effective. I think more than 90% or 95% of the bottles it is being collected. And then now, okay, we try to reflect in Indonesia whether this system can be implemented or not. I think first thing first, for Indonesia with our huge country, there will be no single solutions. We should open on many different solutions. I think, yeah, Pak Rofi already mentioned before, the existing solution happening with so many initiatives like Waste Bank, the TPS3R, and also with the PRO, the PRO scheme, and then also with the informal sectors, this kind of stuff. So therefore, if we talk about the DRS deposit return schemes, then we need to understand more. What does it mean for Indonesia? Is possibility to implement in Indonesia? Because we have to take into account, consider also the existing initiative or collection system in Indonesia, like the informal sector. We need to make sure that this kind of system, when we implement, it shouldn't, I would say, eliminate the informal sector initiative. So we need to take into account the informal sector as part of the scheme, for example. So then I think, and other point that I just want to highlight that the DRS is mostly for rigid packaging, like PET bottles, this kind of stuff, which is for time being. The collection rate, to be honest, for Indonesia is relatively high. From the research, it is about 62%. Of course, still there is a gap if you really want to achieve 90% like the Scandinavians. I think more need to be done to really understand what will be the system that we are going to implement. What kind of technology, the informal sector integrations, and then who is going to operate. Then how to implement across the category to ensure that every industry, every brand or company has the same level of playing field. What is the impact for the consumers? What level of deposit that actually can bring or attract consumers to return? There are many things. I think there are several discussions ongoing. And then I think we need to discuss further to explore the possibility. For time being, iPro is working on this on the collection initiative, collectively inviting across industry or company. This is something for me, at least as a chair of RIS. Let's really push this to really make it happen, make it big collectively. At the same time, of course, we open to explore, understand the other potential in models. But again, my point is more, it should be relevant to Indonesia.
Thank you. Thank you, Pak Karyanto. The next question is for both Pak Ernest and Ibu Novita from Ilan from the ASEAN Foundation. What is the main challenge encountered when running your app and Rubrics business? and also maybe a ecosystem, and how the relevant stakeholders, particularly the government and big corporate, can support minimizing or even eliminating this challenge for the greater impacts. Maybe Bu Novita can go first. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for the question. So actually, this is like main challenge for every waste recycle industry. We have more waste than a demand. Since our product from the rejected non-valuable plastic, when we receive a people waste, we have to sell our bricks in order to recycle it. So else rejected plastic waste will fail in our workshop. So we need government and also the partner corporate support by using our product to their CSR project maybe, or the public facilities, or like support our R&D, like we recycle non-valuable, it like the last plastic that you can recycle. It's in our workshop. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Perhaps Pak Ernest would like to add to the question, what is the main challenge encountered?
Okay, so I think I want to add on the more challenge to scale up, means the more the bigger our company collect waste, the more recycling center recycling partners needed. At the same time, there's also funding needed to do like the innovation. Like I mean, to convert the conservative waste collection into the more responsible waste collection, there is like a switching cost needed. Meanwhile, the ecosystem for the investor and mostly the tax investor haven't believed that the ESG startup model is the right to invest right now. So this is one of the challenge. And on the other hand, like the impact fund, especially in Southeast Asia, is limited, and even somehow demands more in terms of the business size and also another metrics requests compared with the tech investor. So yes, the alignment needed with the stakeholders. Every stakeholder play a big role, starting from the consumers, municipalities, brand owners, recycling partners, and we have to align with them and ensure that our products and also plan is also address their needs. Specific like the government or big corporate supports, yes, for government to allow and also encourage more startup and early stage corporation doing responsible waste collection, waste management, waste recycling, and also a big corporate to play a big role to encourage the consumers collect and segregate more, because most of the plastic waste coming from the packaging product. I think I just want to also add on, like there is a question from me related about the recycling startup. So I think this is like the opportunity. We also are in ecosystem, since we are platform based. We are growing with the new emerging recycling startup that collect certain type of the waste, whether it's plastic or not. So I think this is the momentum is there, but yeah, the challenge is to how to ensure the participation from the household. So the key activities or key intervention that currently ecosystem do is we are focusing on encourage a minimal segregation from the household. Means we don't ask them to segregate like 10 types of waste, 20 types of waste. It's like we encourage them to only segregate like the wet and the dry one, and the more segregation will be done with the waste workers, with the more incentive and money generation for them. Because the more barrier is the higher type of the waste segregation, the more barrier them to penetrate. It's like for them starting like the new habits. Like when we start the new habits, we will not like running. We will not running for the full marathon at the beginning. We will running from the 1K, 5K, and increase one by one. So this is how we encourage the household. At the other hand, we also need to increase the productivity of the waste workers to segregate more and give them more benefit, because the income from them is also quite low. How we can match the segregation of the waste collected into the right type that can be accepted with the right recycling partners. So this is how our works do right now to absorb more waste into the recycling chain. Thank you.
Thank you, Pak Ernest. Sorry, I got kicked out just now. I think there was a question that is addressed to Mizuno-san. Is ERIA connected from Madam Lorena Mestizo, is ERIA connected with other science research communities doing studies on marine plastic other than reducing this problem overall? If so, what are these studies? Please, Ms. Yunasan.
Thank you. So yes, I think we can cite the example of IGS, Institute for Global Environmental Studies, that we have signed a contract and we're collaborating with them to sort of expand our network. And we also, as ERIA, have papers that we have published on EPR, rural waste management, and recycling in ASEAN context. So you can find them on our website as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Yunasan. The next question, we only have 10 minutes left, maybe two last questions. The first one is for Pak Karyanto. At the moment, we can send plastic waste to be recycled with a service from Grab Express Recycle to the nearest Langkah Hijau Aqua waste bank in our area. This is a good initiative, but how is the status going at the moment? And also your plastic waste recycling plant in Pasuruan, is it receiving plastic waste from all over Indonesia? Thank you. Please, Pak Karyanto.
All right. Okay. So thank you for the question. So for this initiative on digital collections that we have with Grab, still ongoing up to now. And then of course we really want to scaling up. Recently we work together also with Octopus, integrated with Grab, so that we can Octopus, I think it was in my presentation as well. There's also the startup on the digital collections. So with working together between Grab, Danone, and also Octopus, we are able to scaling up, of course, to enlarge the coverage of the collection. So I think you still can use the applications if you want to send your plastic waste to the waste bank that registered in the application. The second point is on recycling company. Yes, basically for Danone Aqua, Danone Indonesia, we initiate the partnership with the local partners on recycling plants located in Bandung. It was almost 10 years ago, with a capacity of 10,000 tons per year. And then the second plant is actually working together with Fulia, located in East Java, Pasuruan, 25,000 tons. And then of course, this facility receive plastic waste coming from many different areas all over Indonesia. And as I mentioned before, of course, we really want to push for inclusive collections. Therefore, we have an initiative together with Fulia and also local partners to establish a collection center which is inclusive. Nevertheless, this collection center through the network also receiving plastic bottles from many different islands. I have all of the list of the the partners, but we also receive from North Sulawesi, for example, or even from Maluku, Ambon, and some other area all over Indonesia through the local network, which is in the future we are planning to further empower them to be more inclusive. Thank you.
Thank you, Pak Karyanto. We're running out of time, so maybe this is the last question. We have a question for all three panelists from the private sector, Pak Karyanto, Bu Novita, and Pak Ernest. Here goes. As you might notice that Indonesia, through National Plastic Action Partnership, set the goal to reduce the plastic flowing into the oceans by 70% in 2025. How do you elaborate this goal into your business? Perhaps Pak Karyanto will answer first, and then Bu Novita and Pak Ernest. Thank you.
So, sorry, the voice was breaking for the last part.
Oh, sorry. So, as you might notice, Indonesia has a National Plastic Action Partnership set the goal to reduce the plastic flowing into the oceans by 70% in 2025. How do you elaborate this goal into your business?
Yeah, so, okay, this is quite ambitious target, of course, by the government, but we need to have this kind of ambitions. And of course, perhaps you're aware also that the government has also the ambitious target to be zero leakage by 2040. And then to achieve that, we need to do the initiative which is structured, massive, and then collective actions. And then private sector, a company like us, has to take a part as well. So therefore, through our pledge that we committed to the public, we want to participate by collecting more than we produce by 2025. So it is not easy. We need to do a quite massive initiative with all of the challenges that we have having the business in Indonesia. But through the collaborations, I believe we are able to achieve it. I can also mention, I know my friends Ernest also, we are working together, and then of course we will announce later part. But of course, as I mentioned before, collaborations and through the innovations, through the massive initiative, we should be able to achieve the goal supporting the Indonesian government pledge. Terima kasih.
Terima kasih, Pak. Please, perhaps Ibu Novita.
Agree with Mr. Karyanto. Rebrix as a recycler actor also wants to collaborate to achieve this Indonesian target. Yes, because this is our focus for 3 years. We open to collaborate to tackle the ocean waste, plastic waste. So yeah, we already make discuss with some GO and NGO to open the Rebrix in the coastal area and also the small city. Like that. Thank you.
Thank you, Pak Ernest. Please.
Okay, so I think I just first want to emphasize what Pak Karyanto and Bu Novita said, that the first one is the key play in this initiative is to collaborate within the stakeholders, how all the stakeholders, starting from the government, brand owners, private sectors, also work together to tackle this plastic marine debris problem. The second one is to collect more, means for ecosystem itself, we generating revenue and building our business by collecting more waste to be recycled. So I mean to scale up more, to penetrate to more area, to more cities, to more region, to absorb more type of waste that can be supplied or match made into the right recycling partners. So means by specific for the ecosystem, we need to even grow faster to collect more type of waste, and maybe can help to hit like zero leakage into the ocean by 2030.
Thank you very much. I think we have 2 minutes. Maybe we can have one very last question. This looks like a question for Rebrix. I would like from Revina Indra Putri. I would like to ask about rejected post-consumer plastics, which are transformed into certain properties or materials like building materials. When such materials are damaged, will they still be recycled into the same or new materials, such as that we can actually close the loop? Please, Ibu Novita.
Okay, thank you for the technical answer. Actually, we already initiate the research nowadays. About a few months ago, with discussed with our R&D team. Our head is like a lecture for civil engineering. Then it is very possible to like recreate our product again, like crushing if you don't need it in the few years, and we can collect the product and crush it and make it for the like other material. Is it possible? But we right now we are on research and development for that product. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Bu Novita. Unfortunately, our time is up, although we have quite a number of questions left. Thank you so much for the questions. I see that the participants coming from the region, all over the region, from Philippines, Myanmar, Japan, also Indonesia. Thank you so much for being here and for all the good questions. Thank you for all the speakers, Pak Rofi, Takagi-san, Pak Karyanto, Bu Novita, Pak Ernest, and also Mizuno-san for all the insights and wonderful, inspiring initiatives that hopefully can inspire other companies to follow suit. Thank you so much. And I'd like to remind everyone to please visit our website, especially if you are companies to have similar initiatives. at rkc-mpd-area.org. And also don't forget to follow us for more information on marine plastic debris. We have an account in Twitter and Instagram, RKC-MPD_area, and also Facebook and LinkedIn, Regional Knowledge Center for Marine Plastic Debris. Thank you so much. And now I'd like to ask Kojima-san to have a closing remark. Please, Kojima-san. Thank you.
Thank you, Hela-san. On behalf of the organizer, I'd like to express my gratitude to all of you. It was a pleasure to hear that all of our speakers are contributing to Indonesia's effort on reducing plastic waste and preventing plastic leakage to the environment. I observed that there are various approaches to reduce plastic leakages by recycling, product recreation, and digitalization, and others. Along with the National Plastic Action Partnership, I would also like to extend my thanks to our participants for raising questions to speakers, which make the discussion more fruitful. As we could see, there are many types of solutions for plastic pollution. Appropriate measures to prevent leakage of plastic into the ocean valley. We learned that to combat this problem, we should have a context-specific approach, be mindful of the types and plastic usage, climatic and geographic characteristics of the environment, and infrastructure to manage once it becomes waste. Our partnership with the private sector to tackle marine plastic pollution has just started. We plan to organize similar events focusing on other countries in the region. Events like this may open your eyes to the innovative and courageous entrepreneurs who are addressing environmental issues head-on, provide you with new insights for your future activities and new opportunities for partnerships on tackling marine plastic debris issues and beyond. I hope you will join our online event in the near future and consider registering your company's contribution on our private sector platform introduced by my colleague earlier. Finally, I'd like to express my sincere gratitude to the speakers and participants. Thank you for your attendance and contribution to this event. Thank you very much.